to do a review on Divergent by Veronica Roth. Okay, so this is the cover of Divergent. You can see it. I haven't seen any other covers for this book, so I'm guessing this is the only cover that's been released. It was given to me as a Christmas present by one of my very good friends. Anyway, so I'm going to give a quick summary of the book, and then I'm going to go into reviewing it. So basically this is another dystopian futuristic book. It's set in Chicago, but we don't know any other cities that exists. The only thing that she talks about is 5 factions. Yeah, and the 5 factions are enmity, which is based on friendship and love; dauntless, based on bravery and being fearless; abnegation, being selfless; and rejection, all full of like luxuries and privileges, basically living like a monk lifestyle; candor, which is being honest; erudite, which is full of knowledge. That's where the clever people tend to go. Yeah, so the main character, Trish, or Beatrice, but she becomes to be known as Trish later on in the book. She has to choose all the people in these factions turn 16, they have to choose a faction that they ultimately want to live. Her family originally comes from abnegation, so there's this big expectation that she's going to choose abnegation. But she's split between the decision of staying with her family or going to where she really wants to go and where her heart desires, which is dauntless. She chooses dauntless, too much to the surprise of her family and the community in abnegation. And in dauntless, she goes through this brutal and violent initiation to actually become a dauntless member. She has to kind of learn how to live in the dauntless faction whilst also keeping her secret at bay, because if people know her secret, they will want to kill her. At first I thought, yes, another dystopian book, because I loved Hunger Games, and I thought, wow, this is really good, you know, these more dystopian books are being released and being published. So my initial reaction of Divergent was, yes, another dystopian book. I wouldn't say I liked it more than Hunger Games, but it was good. It's a really good book, and I enjoyed it from beginning to end. Characters, the main character, Beatrice, Trish, I really liked her. She's described as a small, plain-looking girl. She's described as plain-looking, and the reason why I like it is because she can manipulate people. She switches between personalities. One minute she can be vulnerable, showing people she's no threat at all. The next minute she turns brutal and vicious, and she makes decisions on her own. She doesn't look towards anyone. She's a strong character. Veronica Roth created a really strong role model that girls especially can look up to. Yeah, she's not the typical damsel in distress. The next character that I really liked was the main guy, which his name is Form. And I really liked him. He's described as this pretty, broody, moody, tough guy, and he's like the typical description of a guy that any girl likes, you know, the bad boy. I didn't like him as much as I did with Delos in Nightworld Book 8. The reason why I also liked him as well is the same as I did with Beatrice. He shows a range of emotions. He shows that he's human. He's not this robotic kind of person where he's only one personality, especially when he kind of goes through his fear and he shows Beatrice his fear. You see the child in him, you know, he's a really scared little boy, and he's overcome that by portraying on this demeanour of toughness and brutality. That leads me nicely on to their relationship. I really like their relationship, the chemistry between them two, because Beatrice is originally from abnegation, and they portray this act of selflessness. Relationships and intimacy is one of them, so she's never really experienced what it's like to kiss or touch another sex, a guy. That's what I really do like their relationship, because it's kind of this constant struggle, and they do have to hide it from the other initiates and dauntless as well. This relationship is like secret glances here and there, and it's like, it's not too mature. I mean, it's not too childish and it's not too mature. It's not like how Twilight, Stephanie Meyer described in Breaking Dawn, where the pillows are being ripped apart and the bed being thrashed against the wall. It's nothing like that. The relationship is described nicely, and you can see the conflicting emotion that they're going through, the struggle. That they want to touch each other, but they don't know how to approach each other. So I think in the second book, it kind of leads nicely onto the second book, where how they're going to actually come to terms with their relationship. I wanted to talk about the cover of the book, as I showed you before. I liked this kind of original kind of sign of Divergent. It's a really original, like obviously every book cover is original, but this is really different. I thought it's kind of like, it's a ball of fire, obviously it's the symbol of darkness, but in some ways maybe it's the kind of symbols, kind of the symbols of every of the 5 factions. And I liked the landscape at the bottom. You can see the 2 main characters obviously are there. The landscape at the bottom you can see is kind of the futuristic society. You know, it's really marshy and it's really tall buildings, which does look a bit like London itself. But yeah. So I liked the cover. The cover kind of really stands out, and it shows, you know, the background is this kind of storm approaching, which eventually in the end the storm does erupt. Overall, the book was really written well. It's easy to read, it's understandable, it's fast paced. It all links with each other from beginning to end. I loved how she wrote it. Some books I read are kind of difficult. It's difficult to get into it, or it doesn't really kind of flow with one another. This book does flow. Each negative thing I would say, and that hence the reason why I'm giving it only 4 out of 5 stars, is that I would have liked to see a more brutal kind of character for. Just in the beginning, I would have liked Veronica Roth to kind of show a more brutal, vicious side. But that's the only reason why I would have given it 4 stars. Other than that, I thought the book was really good. It's a must read, and if you haven't read it, definitely read it. The next book that I'm going to review, and I'm currently reading right now, is Delirium by Lauren Oliver. Yeah, so it's another dystopian book. And I will see you soon. Bye. Two steps.